Boston Public Schools. We have an interesting perspective when it comes to charter schools and public schools and school discipline. Today, Fonya and I attended the Massachusetts Appleseed Conference around school discipline and school climate. And what we repeatedly heard is that suspension does not work. It has been proved. Why is there restorative justice? Because suspension does not work. Fonya's going to talk a little bit about the Dignity in Schools campaign, but basically the data that we found and the data that keeps repeatedly found is that suspensions do not work. When you suspend a child for one thing, they're going to continuously do it unless they really learn what their mistake was and why there was an issue with that mistake. And you know, what really hurts is that I know that within my community, I'm a proud Boston Public Schools high school graduate, Boston Public Schools graduate. And I had the opportunity to go to Boston Community Leadership Academy, BCLA, which is now in Hyde Park. I served on the governing board, represented my school citywide, statewide, nationwide, represented BSAC. And when it comes to suspensions, when it comes to expulsions, my school had very few. What they did instead was talk to the students. What they did instead was work with the students. If two students fight, does tension go away because they've been suspended for 3 days or because they get sent to this alternative? And yes, I say alternative with air quotes because the Barrack Center is not an alternative. A student has to learn. For a student to be removed from the classroom for weeks on end, for days on end, how is the student learning? And this is the same within public schools, and this is the same within charter schools. If we want generations to excel, suspending them and expelling them from schools is not the solution, and it's not going to work at all. And so, you know, I'm getting a little worked up, and I'm very passionate, you know. I have two younger brothers who went to charter schools and went to public schools. The experience was very different. And you know, I do agree with charters, different strokes for different folks. And I just, you know, some charter schools might work for some, public schools might work for some. But what doesn't work is suspension and expulsion. Why is it that, especially within my community, within the Dudley community, within Roxbury, within Dorchester, the majority of students that are suspended and expelled are Black and Latino, African American, young boys and females? That does not work. We are making beds for students in prisons as we speak because we continue to suspend and expel our students. If we continue to suspend and expel our students, we're opening up the door for prisons to take our young Black boys, our young Black girls, our young Latino girls, our young Latino boys, and send them into a system that is hard to get out of. We're sending them into a cycle that is hard to be broken. If we continue to send them into this cycle, if we continue to set them up for this cycle, where are we going to be? Our generations that came before us, for Black women, for Latino men, for Latino women, for Black men, our generations before us can no longer continue to fight. They're 80 years old, 90 years old. We are the students. We are speaking up for our fellow peers. You all, the adults, I'm glad that you are here, but it's the students that need to be speaking up about their education. And I see some students here from charter schools, from public schools. Regardless of my perspective or BSAC's perspectives or their perspective, they're here because they care about their education. They care enough about their education to fight for their education. And we as older people, we as parents, we as city councilors care enough about the future generations to be here today. So that's just really what I want to say. Suspensions and expulsions don't work. We need to find alternatives. If we don't find alternatives, beds and beds and beds will be created for our students. You might not think that your son, that your daughter, you know, might end up there, but the reality is, if they're constantly suspended and expelled, where are they going to go? It's called the school to prison pipeline. If you don't know what it is, you need to look it up, because that is a cycle that is hard to break, and that we're trying to break right now through restorative justice. Thank you.